Greetings, loved ones.
Why? Oh, turn the lamp off.
Oh.
Every time we forget.
Because apparently light from the lamp is bad. I don't know.
It's bad. It's yellow. It's different than the lighting.
Let me scoot over so you're not hiding behind the mic.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
So, remember last week when we said that Leo being fucking useless now without clerical powers was going to be a problematic element in the future? Turns out that whatever the fuck happened in episode 2 is what happens when Leo doesn't have cleric powers.
Episode 2 was fun and normal. We're feeling fun and normal.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's good. You know.
Oh, geez.
We got some great questions this week.
Yes.
So we're going to be diving right into those. And as always, towards the back half of the Q&A stream, we're going to be opening the floor for open question time. Again, if you guys have anything you want to ask, just put it in the chat and we'll scroll back up later and find it. You can just ask things as you think of them. Yeah. Go for it. So the first question we got was, as per usual, talk about the episode playlist.
Yes. That was loud.
That was really loud. This one is one of my favorite ones that we've done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Weight of Us by Sanders Bulk. That one was kind of a mood setter. It was very much, it's very much a song about not being ready for a relationship to change and everything that implies. The line, it's the first line, actually. There are thieves who rob us blind and kings who kill us fine, but steady the rights and the wrongs invade us, an innocent song. I'm not ready for the weight of us. So that one was kind of our mood setter. And
you made you put together most of this episode playlist, and it was very fast. I remember.
Yeah.
It was just, nope, got it. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Well, we've had a couple episode playlists that were like that, where it was like we had it done like 30 minutes after we were done recording.
Yeah.
We actually, the episode 11 playlist we had done before we recorded it. Yeah. Yep. We've had the episode 11 playlist done for weeks, and we recorded it yesterday.
Just because that one had a fixed plot point in it, but
that one was one of the ones where our story beats in that episode were more fixed and not as dependent on dice rolls.
But you'll see in a few months.
So we knew it was coming.
You'll see in August.
My songs Know What You Did in the Dark by Fall Out Boy.
Combat music.
Every time we need combat music, we literally just pull up the Fall Out Boy discography and just like roll a dice and pick.
Fall Out Boy is not always what we pick for combat music, but they are our first stop.
Yeah.
Just because they just write a lot of stuff that's good for combat.
Yeah.
It's good moods.
I was talking to a friend the other day who was like, when are we getting the Mia combat sequence to Rat-a-Tat?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that slaps, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, that fucks.
Season 3, probably.
Yeah. Then Unsteady by Ex-Ambassadors. They have daddy issues. Surprise. Not much else to say about that.
Sometimes you just say stuff.
Are we all listening to the same podcast? Wow, shocker. They have daddy issues.
I hate your ass. Genuinely. Oh, man.
Ghost That We Knew was for the Fever Dream sequence.
Yes.
And
it's the song on the Leo playlist this week, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was that one for Leo, and it was 8 by Sleeping at Last for Fee.
Which was my one contribution to the playlist.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, no need to apologize. Thank you for doing the playlist. And only needing me to contribute one song.
But yeah, the You Saw My Pain Washed Out in the Rain, Broken Glass, All the Blood Run from My Veins, but you saw no fault, no cracks in my heart, and you knelt beside my hopes torn apart. That sure is a Leo Zed sentiment for that Fever Dream sequence.
Man.
We'll be talking about my many feelings about Leo Zed here in a minute.
We're going into it after we finish the playlist.
Ate by sleeping at last.
That's the Fee song.
That's the
Fee song. Hang on.
That's the Fee running through the woods frantically trying to find a fucking plant song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Fee mood, not just for this episode, but this episode was the time to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a song that I've associated with Fee for a long time, but this episode was...
Yeah, I like how we both have those songs where it's like they've been sitting on our Leo and Fee playlists forever. And like we sit down to make the episode playlist and we're like, do we pull the trigger? Is now when we do it? Is now the time? Because one of those songs is Big God by Florence and the Machine. And like literally for like 4 weeks in a row, we sat down to do the playlists and we would look at each other and be like, is it time to pull the trigger on Big God?
It's not.
No, it's not time.
Not yet.
Yeah.
God.
Which is one of the Fee songs that we had that issue with. And with Leo, I've been sitting fucking on Monet Issues by Chase Petra for months, and I'm not going to get to pull the trigger on it until at least the season 3 premiere, and it's driving me nuts.
It's very funny. But yeah, 8. I was just a kid who grew up strong enough to pick this armor up, and suddenly it fits. Now you won't see all that I have to lose and all I've lost in the fight to protect it. I won't let you in. I swore never again. I can't afford. No, I refuse to be rejected.
Ugh. But how it ends with I am strong, I am strong, I am strong enough to let you in. Yeah.
It was very much the progression of Fee's feelings in this episode.
Siblings.
Derogatory.
Well, no, not derogatory.
Well, yeah, but and I'm standing guard, I'm falling apart, and all I want is to trust you. Show me how to lay my sword down for long enough to let you through. Siblings. And then the verse immediately after that, which is here I am, pry me open. What do you want to know? I'm just a kid who grew up scared enough to hold the door shut and bury my innocence. But here's a map, here's a shovel, here's my Achilles heel.
Head and hands. The Val signs.
I just think there were a lot of ways that we could have done the Leo and Fee reconnection, and I think the way that we chose to do it, which was they just choose to let some things go and move forward, I think that's kind of the most powerful way we could have done it, in my opinion. No,
I agree with you on that, because there could have been, we could have done it and approached it in a lot of different ways. Yeah. And I mean, none of those ways are necessarily invalid ways for people who have been mutually traumatized to unpack that trauma. But like, there could have been a lot that we went into about, both of them fucking answering for a bunch of shit. And to a degree, Leo does do a good bit of answering for shit over the course of this season, but it is never Fee asking him to answer for it.
Yeah. And there are a lot of, we'll talk about this more later in the Q&A, but there are a lot of different ways to handle that. But like the way that we chose to go about it was just very much way that we chose to go about it for them in this specific situation, we felt was kind of the best way to do it, of just mutually deciding that it was done.
Yeah, just like we're fucking in it now. Like,
last song on the playlist.
Fuck. Okay. So Forgive the Children We Once Were by Delta Ray was another one of those ones that we sat on for a really long time.
Yeah, I was gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah, like I had that on my Val Signs playlist. Like my personal Val Signs playlist since we started. It's been there since before episode 1. Yeah. Well, because it was on my Val Signs playlist back when we were still playing them.
Yeah,
in our home game. Yeah. Which like so much has changed about them in the redesign for the podcast. But we've Pidge is using her scratching post. So
Good
true, Queen.
Girl, Pidge.
Good girl. Thank you for doing that and not scratching
you.
up the furniture.
We appreciate you. Good girl. Stop chewing plastic.
But yeah, we had that one on our Val Signs playlists like back when we were still playing them in our home game, and it kind of stuck, and it makes me tear up listening to it now.
Yeah.
Like it just that last like clarion call of all the lines we knew back then, they now are faded. All the laws we once obeyed, they have betrayed us. People that I used to hate, I hardly remember. Forgive the children we once were. Forgive the children we once were. Like,
Delta came through for us.
It ties directly into that fucking Leo line, which I didn't think about it at the time, but it does tie directly into that Leo line of, I have a lot of battles to fight and people that I hate. And if I can take you off of both of those lists, it gets easier for both of us.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like, that was the first song we put on the playlist.
Yeah.
Because we were like, nope, it needs to close out with Forgive the Children We Once Were. It's time to it's time to pull the trigger.
Yeah. It is time.
Okay. So that's the episode playlist. We really liked this one. It was
proud of it.
It was fun. Well, it wasn't fun, but it was something.
No, but
so on to our other questions that we got. Were you planning to do the fever dream sequence, or did that just happen because Leo rolled low on his con save in the swamp? So what we did with that, like we've said before, we put a lot of thought into like story beats that need to happen, but we try to balance all of those fixed story beats with things that are also in flux, because we still want to be playing Dungeons and Dragons and we still want to leave things up to the dice. Yeah. We made the mechanic for the illness. We did not know whether or not somebody was definitely going to get sick.
Yeah, before we recorded this episode, we sat down and we were like, okay, they're fighting in a swamp. If they have open wounds in swamp water,
they're Australian, and that's going to be bad.
Yeah. So whoever bleeds in the water is going to have to roll that con save.
Yeah. So
it could have been both of them, or it could have been neither of them.
Yeah, and I mean, full transparency here, we knew that statistically, if someone got sick, it was going to likely be Leo.
Because he fights at closer range.
Because he fights at close combat, and Feek has the opportunity to get range and stay up on the land. Yeah. And also because Fee is proficient in con saves as a sorcerer. Like, she would still be rolling with disadvantage, but she's got that proficiency. And she's got good con. Or like Leo has good con, but he doesn't have proficiency in con saves, and also he was more likely to be in the water.
Yeah.
So going into it, we kind of had this discussion of, if it happens to somebody, it's probably going to be Leo. But we actually both did plan out separate fever dream sequences. Yeah. Because we were like, okay, if somebody gets sick, we're going to do a fever dream sequence with them.
And we like sat down and we were like, okay, if they both get sick, then we're just going to both play out these fever dream sequences, and we're going to have
Ilva save them.
Ilva just saves the day. Ilva just does that.
Yeah.
Because they can't both die.
Yeah. So we discussed, hey, what's going to happen if this person gets sick, if this person gets sick, if they both get sick. Yeah.
And then we planned out the fever dream sequences that we had separately.
Yeah. Because Al didn't know about mine that I had planned, and I didn't. Oh, you don't? I thought I told you about this.
No.
If Fee had gotten sick, her fever dream sequence was going to be, it was going to be like one of those dreams where you think you wake up in the dream, but you're not actually awake. Yeah. And it was going to be like one of those ones where it like loops, where you like keep waking up in the dream and you're still dreaming. But she was going to be waking up in Allure and Ador's house in Gimtarum and be dealing with like Allure and Adore and Courage talking to her like she lived there and like she was part of their life there, and like not able to understand why she was acting weird. And then as the fever dream kind of devolved and she got sicker, people were going to start turning into other people. Like Allure was going to turn into Alasha. And so that was what I had planned if he had gotten sick.
Yikes. Oh, somebody in the chat said Ilva's a butch lesbian, the most invaluable ally to have in times of crisis.
We've been telling y'all.
It's been it's been a running joke with us as we've been recording season 2 that there is no problem that cannot be solved by a butch with a carabiner. There are no problems that cannot be solved by a butch with a carabiner.
All of our most competent characters on this show are cool butches.
Yeah.
Ilva, Lynn Stonebloom.
So true. Yeah. But yeah. It is in fact one of the foundational stories of Zephyrild's religion, which we'll find out in a few weeks.
So true. There's a literal parable in the Zephyrild's religious text of there is no problem that can't be solved by a bush with a carabiner.
But we'll get to that in August.
Yeah, so
brainworms.
So we had both planned the fever. So there we knew that there was likely going to be a fever dream sequence. If they had both passed their saves for that, we would have just done something else, to fill the time in that episode.
Well, that's what we were talking about how we had to skip like a mini arc because
and there were other reasons for that too. But we would have filled that time with something else if they had both passed the saves. But we made the mechanic for Swamp Fever and acknowledged like, hey, one of them's probably going to get sick. Yeah, statistically, it's probably going to be Leo because of all these reasons. Yeah. So that stuff was still left up to chance, but we did plan out the fever dream sequences because we figured that one way or the other, we were probably going to have to do one.
Yeah.
Was Leo actually seeing people in the afterlife, or was it just a dream?
The dream sequence was fully Leo's mind palace.
It was not. Yeah, Leo was not crossing the veil or anything. It was fully.
Yeah, like that was not the real. That was not the real version of his mom. That was not the real version of Soren. For multiple reasons. But
yeah, so it was all happening within Leo's mind palace. It's just that the unfortunate thing about Leo's mind palace is that it is a horrifying broken house of mirrors in a shitty roadside carnival full of like clowns and dead people.
I'm telling you, that's a way less funny metaphor to people that don't know that you're afraid of clowns.
I'm deathly afraid of clowns. There you go.
Anyway,
but that was it was all inside Leo's head. That was not the real people that he was interacting with. It wasn't the real Zed. It wasn't the real Soren.
Well, it was obviously not.
Well, yeah, clearly because that's alive. But yeah. Well, and like other people that he was seeing in that dream sequence, like he saw Ravain and Kalessa and like lots of other people that are alive.
Yeah, but like the dead people that he saw were not visiting him.
No, there was just a dream sequence. Pidge, please stop trying to break into the bathroom. Please stop.
Ma'am. Our cat can open doors.
Our cat can open doors and turn on sinks. Yeah. She's very smart and a menace.
She's very smart and she uses it for evil.
No, so the dead people that he saw in that dream sequence was, at least on the part of Soren, it was a grieving process. That fever dream sequence is how we see Leo grappling with Soren's death.
Yeah.
And, his mother and Elena and Elion are also, just grief that he had that he's still wrestling with. And because his brain was fever addled and he was dying.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And this is going to be really schmoopy and romantic, but it occurred to me after we were done recording. But like literally the fact that Zed was there and said all of that stuff and got him to make that decision to come back, that literally means that Leo's fever-addled brain took his primal will to live and urge to survive and personified it as Zed.
You're welcome. Epic romance.
And that was when I started crying.
It was.
Well, actually, I cried through most of that.
Yeah. That scene, it wasn't that long in the actual podcast, but it took us about an hour and a half to record it. Between stopping to figure out how to phrase things.
And Barry crying.
Barry took 2 smoke breaks and went down and cried.
Yeah. I started crying when Zed said, "Can I cut in?" And I heard Al go into the Zed voice because, again, like I went into that fever dream sequence totally blind. I didn't know what they were doing with it.
I don't think it was even when I started talking in the Zed voice. I think it was because I have a specific like posture that I go into when I'm doing Zed lines. So
and you moved into your chair and it was just like the waterworks just came on. I was like, no. Because like I was like upset and my heart hurt when the opening scene of the fever dream happened with Adana. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck this, man. Okay, this is going to hurt. Okay. Yeah. And I was like bracing myself for it. So I had a feeling that Soren was going to show up because Adana was there. So I was like more ready for it. And yeah, like when Zed came in, like the waterworks came on and I was trying really hard to like quietly cry so I wasn't fucking up the recording.
Yeah.
And we were like taking pause breaks for me to be like, okay.
It was very unintentional, but as a storyteller, satisfying. As your close friend and someone who struggles with hyperempathy, not so much.
Oh,
cat's in the background. Pidgey.
Yeah, she's just running around. She's fine.
Okay.
She's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, so I started crying when Zed came back in, and then where you hear me lose it, you can hear me lose it in two places in the episode. I know because I had to fucking cry while I was editing too.
Yeah.
That fucking goddamn, like, I just want to talk about how much I love Al as a DM and how fucking good they are at emotionally poignant scenes. Like that repeated line of the light shifts, and you could have sworn that there were more people in here a second ago as Leo's brain and like body and life are fading and everything is slowly dissolving into just the dead people around him and Zed, who is his will to live. And like the slow devolution of that and like that fucking heart-wrenching, just the description of the gesture where Zed just lets him go and tucks his hair behind his ear and says, you know what the right answer is. You can hear me let out a sob in the background. I was like, yeah. And I like tried to muffle it as well as I could, but it still turned.
A lot of our pauses while recording were I hit the stop button and said, are you okay?
And I was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, let's keep going. but yeah, I let out a full like when that happened. Yeah. Oh, to have Zed Stonebloom tenderly tuck my hair behind my ear and tell me that my choices are good. And then, yeah, my voice broke when he almost sat down at the table with Soren and like made that decision to not die. Mm-hmm. I started like fucking crying there again too, and had to take that line a couple times. And the version of that line that went in was the one with the least crying in it.
Yeah. That was. I think you did 4 takes of that line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
because I just kept fucking crying. Yeah. Episode 2 was a bad time for me. I cried a lot during episode 2. So yeah, the fever dream sequence. We both went into blind because we just told the other one, like, if my character gets sick, do what you want to do as a DM for their fever dream sequence. So I went into that totally blind and got the shit slapped out of me. And I still cry every time I listen to episode 2. I
would say it was revenge for the courage thing, but it did hurt me as much as it hurt you. I can't win. Anyway.
You said last time that you had to what?
Oh no, I was just
okay.
This question. Yes.
You said last time that you had to redesign a lot of the plot this season because of dice rolls. What's some stuff we're not going to see if you can tell us? Sabine was supposed to come back in episode 7. We said that last week.
Yeah.
And
it's my wife.
And that didn't happen. There was we
haven't gotten there yet, so it's but
with the whole swamp fever thing and like the way the dice rolls shook out on that, there was a whole episode long-ish mini arc that we actually didn't get to do because what had happened was and this ties into the next question too. What would have happened if Fee hadn't met the save to find the plan and save Leo? Would he have just died? Yes, he would have died. But the thing that we do is because we're doing a single player co-DM'd campaign that kind of requires both of our characters to live to the end.
Yeah. For the plot, they need to make it.
So we have an out because we get that like it's D&D and wild shit happens and nat ones happen. Yes. We have an out baked into every arc and every combat where if Leo or Fee fucking dies, there's a way to get them back. And either if nobody got sick or if somebody had gotten sick and died, what we were going to do is there is an island in the middle of a big lake in Oskaya with a big...
It's on the world map.
It's on the world map. Like we had this on the world map was how sure we were that we were going to get to do this. With a big wizard's tower on it that is inhabited by a funky necromancer
Yep.
with a passion for taxidermy.
I hate your ass.
and the things that he taxidermies are people.
And we described it in our season plans as the most dangerous game arc.
Yeah, it was gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm a hunter and a taxidermist. Guess what I'm hunting today? You. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, so we had that whole like mini arc that just got completely lost because like Leo was in such bad shape that running from the woods from a crazy necromancer was not something that was in his immediate future.
Yeah.
So then we decided like, oh, okay, like they need to go hang out with this one's family. And so we got like a different little mini arc out of that.
Yeah. But yeah, we were very sure going into the season that we were gonna get this funky wizard. And it wasn't realistic at the end of this episode, so we were like, shit.
Yeah, so if somebody had died, they were going to go to this dude to bring them back, and then
because he would have had 9th level spell slots.
Yeah,
he would have had a wish.
Yeah, yep, and would have been hunted like animals,
and would have somehow entreated the wizard.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that we totally lost.
Yeah. I don't regret what we ended up putting in instead.
No, because I like episode 3. Episode 3 is good. Yeah.
Good. We had fun.
But that's what episode 3 was supposed to be. And it didn't happen that way.
It shouldn't go that way.
Other things that didn't happen. We were supposed to go back to Vogvolder way earlier. Again, because of that Nat 1 where Fee lost the coin, like everything with getting them back to Vogvolder. They have to take... Calling it the long way around is generous.
There were some delays. We were meant to get back around, I think we said episode 13.
Yeah, around then. Yeah, we spent a lot, for reasons we can't specify yet, we spend a lot of fucking time in the Zephyr Isles in season 2.
Yeah. And like, as soon as I rolled that Nat 1, we realized how much more time we were going to have to spend in the Zephyr Isles. And we did a lot more outlining of stuff that we were going to have to do there.
Which is where we started rearranging. Well,
yeah.
Well, which is when we started like rearranging the season. Because we've said that, we've had to rearrange the season 3 separate times. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was one of those incidences where we sat down and we were like, oh man, we got to change all this now. Yeah. But we are in the Zephyr Isles from episode 6 to episode 18, I believe. Yeah.
I think in our season plan right now we get back to Vogvolder on 18.
Yeah. So we spend most of season 2 in the Zephyr Isles.
Which I don't regret.
No, I don't regret. I fucking love the Zephyr Isles. They're so cool. Pirates. But yeah, so the whole reunion of the season 1 squad got pushed back way further. Yeah. And we lost a lot of fun episode concepts because of that.
Which the season is stronger for losing the concepts, but damn.
But damn, we lost Leo and Zed getting Vegas married.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, we had pitched. We had pitched an episode where they went out on a bender, like after everybody got back together, that they went out on a bender, and Leo and Zed woke up the next morning, and both of them had completely lost all of their items, but they had wedding rings, and they had to put together what had happened last night, like the plot from fucking Memento, to go and try to find all their
plans. And a lot of the other stuff that we were supposed to get to at the end of. At the end of season 2, we pushed back to season 3, which I don't regret because we had a lot of filler in season 3.
Our original plot line, we had a bunch of filler in season 3 that was like able to go. So
it was able to go very easily, and we kind of moved things up. But we did completely lose Leo and Zed get Vegas married. Oh, I'm sad about it again. It was gonna be so good. Oh, jeez.
And then they were going to find out at the end of the episode that they weren't actually married because Leo's not technically ordained in the Astrarian church.
Yeah. It was, I think what we had planned out was it was going to be ship rules of Leo said, listen, I'm ordained. I can perform our wedding. And then he isn't, so it didn't count
because legally Leo isn't a priest. Yeah.
It was, oh man, that episode concept. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, I'm so sad. But yeah, that one had to go.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a couple other like fun episode concepts like that because we're not getting back to Vogveldur until like the tail end of the season, just kind of got yoinked. We had that one. What were some of the other ones we had that ended up having to go?
Oh God, I don't. Nothing that I can say without spoiling things that are going to happen at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a bonus episode.
As I think about it.
We had a bonus episode plot line that ended up having to go too.
Yeah.
Which was Zed and Kalessa go to White Castle.
Well, we might do it in Tinder.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like after everything winds down a little bit, they might still have time to go to White Castle, but
we might still have that bonus episode.
But given where they like geographically, are they rocks? But given where they are geographically right now, Zed and Kalessa go to White Castle can't happen.
I certainly think Zed's a gem.
and you know what? So is Kalessa. She's a diamond, a goddamn diamond.
Oh, somebody in the chat said could have Vegas marriage in campaign 2.
Anybody that gets married in campaign 2 is going to have a Vegas marriage. Everybody's from Vegas.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we lost. Kind of the only things we lost were like just fun one-off episode ideas.
Yeah.
We thought we had a lot more room for those fun one-off episodes when we were originally plotting out the series.
Yeah, and it just didn't end up.
And then it was like, oh man, this lore is a lot. We've got to find a way to get all this shit in here. And then like, so a lot of just one of those fun one-off concepts just end up going out the window.
Which, that's life. That's story structure. It's a lot tighter now. My glasses are so fucked up now.
But yeah. Okay, so we handled those 2 questions and one about the stuff that got redesigned and then what had happened if Leo had died. But yeah, the answer to that last one is if he had failed that save, Leo would have died. He would have fully died. Yep. And then they were just gonna have
to figure it out.
Yeah, and they were just gonna have to take him somewhere to get resurrected. And then that didn't happen.
Luckily.
How do the Valsigns feel about their relationship and how it's changing? That's big.
You go first. Cleaning my glasses. My business.
Leo feels. I think now that they're so true.
Sorry.
Now that they're unpacking as much as they are, I think right now, like where we are with what people are hearing, so just like episodes as they are releasing now.
Hi, Pidgey.
Yes, so true. She screams.
Hi, baby. Sorry, she's under my chair.
But yeah, as far as where we are right now and what that means for Leo, he feels right now mostly guilty because I think, he's finally unpacking all of the feelings that he's had toward Fee for their entire lives and realizing that a lot of the frankly really shitty way that he treated her for their entire lives was
Sorry, Paige is stuck in the headphones.
She's fine, just let her go.
She's stuck. I was trying to get her out.